list in Chris's inventory that, like, we talked about he had a lot of weight, but a lot of things he has on there don't have weights listed.
There's like 5 chairs that are listed 0 pounds.
Like what?
Your bottle of rum, chisel, flagon of ale, leather sack. Nothing that seems super heavy. Yep, that's true. Lisasaurus teeth,
Yeah.
quicksand. I'm just looking at stuff that doesn't have weight. I don't know what some of this stuff is.
Do any of our ability scores change on this level up?
No. Does everyone take all their spells? Is everyone get ready to move on?
Yeah.
Well, because before we started recording, you all asked so nicely, you're gonna level up again.
What?
You're gonna go to level 6.
Really?
What's the catch? What's happening here?
No catch. Just it's been a little while since you guys leveled up, so you all are getting 2 levels right now.
I really thought you were going to mess it up.
Just sign on the dotted line.
Yeah. Please sign your life away.
Something happened.
What? Doctors are warning patients not to put spring rolls up their anus. Oh my god. The world, what has it become?
With level 6, you all get even more health. You roll your hit die again, just like you did, and add it into your pool there in D&D Beyond. Gum Gum, you now get 4 rages. You get bolstering magic, which is a feature from Path of Wild Magic. It can be used a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus for a long rest. So you can touch a willing creature, and for 10 minutes that creature
The
rolls
hell?
a d.
Nej, fan. What is going on?
It's like you kind of bucket of bardic inspiration. Or you can roll a d3. The creature or you regains 1 expended spell slot, the level of which equals the number rolled or low. You do that once per month. On that specific thing, I don't know what a d4 is. I was just going to say that. There's no d3. That's what's listed in the manual. It's a d3. Yeah, a d3 is you roll a d6 in the mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I thought that was a pyramid one. It's d4. No, that's a d4. Yeah, no, I knew that. You get an extra third level spell slot. You can swap on spells, but keeps the deck. So
Yeah.
you also get counter charm. As an action, you can start a performance that lasts until the end of your next turn. During that time, you and any friendly creatures within 30 feet have advantage on saving throws against frighten or charm. Creatures will hear you gain this benefit. The performance ends early, incapacitated, silence, or consent.
And that's automatically added to my character sheet.
I believe so. Yeah, you'll see it as like one of your abilities. Said counter charm. Anything kind of like bar walking to a bar, it's like how you do the double down. Nice. And then the final thing Bart gets is Mantle of Majesty. You gain the ability to cloak yourself in any magic that makes others want to serve you. As a bonus action, you can cast a command without expending a spell slot, and you take on an appearance of unearthly beauty for 1 minute or until concentration ends.
So you're saying nothing changes about my character?
Hey. During this time, you can cast a command as a bonus action on each of your turns without expending a spell slot. Any creature charmed by you automatically fails a saving throw against the command you cast with this feature. And you can use it once per long rest. So just like you become a charming, commanding person.
And I don't use any spell slots.
Yep.
So I can just do that whenever I want.
As a bonus action once per long rest.
Oh, gotcha.
Command's a good spell. Yeah. Bart used it, right? In one of the recent episodes. Suggestion. Oh, was that suggestion? No.
Suggestion, yeah. have a suggestion. And now it's funny. I just spent all that time making one of the third level spells, and now I have to go through again and be like, now what do I want?
You don't have to take it. You can just stick with it.
No, I'm like,
Did you keep your receipt?
now if I picked tongues last time, should I pick stupid plants?
Hey. Speaking with plants, mud gains an extra third level spell slot. Again, you can swap out your spells. And also get Primal Strike. So starting 6th level, your attacks in Beast Form count as magical for the purposes of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. That is very important, and I will have to remember that in future encounters. You all have in the past encountered enemies that have resistance to non-magical attacks. I don't think you all have realized it in the moment at those times, but it has happened in the past. Sometimes we all are like, man, this guy can take a ton of damage. Why aren't they dying? Secretly, they're immune to non-magical attacks.
Oh, my bites are now magic.
I shouldn't say they're resistant to non-magical. Yeah, your claws and your bites are magic. And finally, we've got Kyborg, who gets an ability score improvement.
Or a feat.
Or a feat?
Fate? His feet's right. Feet. I get a fiat.
What's
I'm looking at it and what I could get. I think I could become lucky if I take that as an option.
Some feats have like prerequisites. I'll look it up for you. Like I think you might have to be a halfling, but I could be wrong.
If I had the opportunity to be lucky,
I think anyone can be. You can take it. Yeah, halflings get it by default, but you can be lucky.
I could be lucky. So wait, for one of our party members, I think Bart, you're lucky, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
What does that entail exactly?
If you roll a 1 on anything, ability check, anything like that, you could re-roll.
You know what though? I love when I roll ones. It's really funny.
We don't.
But isn't the lucky feat a little different from the halfling lucky?
Yes, I was about to point that out. So the lucky feat is you can re-roll a d20 or force a re-roll of an attack against you up to 3 times per long rest.
That is pretty cool.
Something I want to point out real quick. I don't know if you all noticed. Blaine just turned to Barbara and went, "Bart, you're lucky, right?" And Barbara replied in Bart's voice.
I didn't realize.
Sure am. Yeah, baby. The trick is that Bart's voice is very similar to mine when I'm stuffed up. And we're not doing any change to abilities. We're on this level either, right?
Correct, just Kyborg.
Right.
Why is it just Kyborg?
I think as like a fighter, it just happens more frequently because fighters don't get spells or any of that fun stuff.
My HP is so high.
There's a thing called vampiric exaltation, where I can turn the bottom half of my body into just mist and float around. It's awesome.
I don't see that one.
I'm looking at a list of feats on D&D 5th edition. So I might have it.
You can, yeah, in D&D Beyond, you can under the game rules, you feats to the right. Look on that, the list of all of them.
Yeah, let's not go crazy with all the extra books.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to Google it and search for it every time.
I'm looking up stuff right now, and I might come back to this because there's a lot of good stuff.
Alright, fair enough.
Barbara, you mentioned that your HP is really high, and Blake was asking like what the catch is with leveling up to level 6. There's no catch, but you two are going to have like higher stakes in fights now. You'll have creatures that hit harder, or like charm, or like do status effects that like, yeah.
We know.
It's funny you mentioned that, and this is not like a plug or anything, but the other day we were watching the first episode of The Legend of Vox Machina, and in the first episode, the party encounters a dragon, and I thought that show did a really good job of showing you how a monster of a much higher challenge rating than your party will just tear you apart without breaking a sweat. So it's like, to Ben's point, like as you were progressing, you will start to meet greater and greater challenges. Like I think the dragon they encountered that show would have been like a challenge rating 23 or 24. Where right now you guys, since you're all level 6, you all are challenge rating 6. But just to like put it to like scale it, like what it would be like. Like you all trying to fight a dragon would have gone down like that show, where it would have done a breath attack, looked at you, and then you all would be dead.
I have a question that maybe you don't to answer, so feel free to say. But our last campaign hasn't been dying as much.
Don't give them ideas.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But we don't even have a conventional healer on this team. Is there a reason why combat has been going less fatally for us? Is it one, in my head, you guys need to take it easy on us, or two, a lot of us are beefy, and so it's harder to take us down, or we have more sustain. Like, for instance, when Mud turns into an animal, I get like all that bonus HP that's temporary until you knock the animal out. And then Gum Gum has rage, and so he has high HP and takes like half damage on a ton of attacks. So what's the answer?
I think Chris was raising his hand. Do you want to answer, Chris?
Well, I think it's a lot of it is this campaign is a lot more story driven and less combat focused.
But even in the combat we do,
I would just say we have less combat.
What he's saying, even in the combat we do.
yeah.
Ben, I'm going around the table here. Ben,
I mean, to answer the question, at least like from my end, like I've straight up told Gus not to pull punches. I think you guys have had a few like lucky rolls with like the heavier fights are thrown at you, but my philosophy on it is like, yeah, we're story driven. We want to keep your stories focused, and there's like ways around like if a character dies, how to like pull them back to the story. It might be a thing where then Mike is writing a arc that's all about seeing Gum Gum's soul from the depths of hell or whatever. But like, if you die, you die, in my opinion, and we'll find a way around that to like work into the story and make it a cool story.
Yeah, I think the characters you're playing, there's more DC characters who are, armor heavy. Mud and Gum Gum typically take the role of tank and off tank. And Kyborg could also off tank as well. Bart's really the most squishy out of all of you, and he does a good job of like staying in the back and going and taking direct damage. If anything, I sometimes pull your punches. Like if I'm gonna like lower the DM speed for a little bit, when you all were fighting V had Ward, he should have died like a round or two earlier. But I wanted to move him out to draw you all back out to the main hall. Odom. Was it Odom? I thought it was Ward. Is Odom? Maybe it was Odom. No, you're right. Yeah, it was Odom. I propped him up for like another round or two to
Hodeboks ligger framme.
I propped him up for like another round or two to move you all to a different group, or to like try to progress the fight, or progress the story.
Right. What I'm hearing is that you want to die. So I will keep that
No.
in consideration.
As John was saying, that sounded like ninth grade or something.
Yeah. Teacher, you didn't give us any homework.
I mean, I think I understood why well from like a damage to HP standpoint. I don't think I understood at the beginning of this that the druid class that I picked is the druid class that's actually meant to tank. I've made jokes about me tanking stuff, but like reading up more about like circle of the moon druids and that kind of thing, I didn't realize I was picking someone who is supposed to go to the front line. Because I've always thought of like druids as very utility, and so they can be healy, and they can be tanky, and they can be just a lot of the slot kind of thing. But
Yeah, I need
it
to go
wasn't
to the
until,
store
I
to get
realized
more
that
eggs because I used the
that's
last two yesterday.
to add things like the round pair and stuff like that, which are just get in there. I'm not going to do a lot of damage, but I will be right next to the thing, and I'll probably be taking damage. I don't care what I was doing. One other thing I'll say, and this is just from my own perspective as the DM of the Passive right now, but like I think there's a misconception that the dungeon master is like your enemy in D&D, and like I don't think of it that way. Like I'm wrong. Our DM is Gus, and we know Gus, and we take delight in killing one of our characters. So
I will say when we're rolling initiative in combat, I feel like your enemies are my guys. I'm trying to move them around and have their ability, try to use their abilities as much as I can, to try to take you guys out.
I take back everything I just said. I think that wholeheartedly.
That's why sometimes I'll be like, oh, I rolled bad.
It's less that the players don't think that they're not like the teams are enemy with the fight against them. But I think specifically Barbara, John, Chris, and Blaine, it's Gus. And Gus is their enemy.
No, I'm just Blaine's enemy. That's all.
Yeah, it's true. Also, I found that I didn't realize there are guns in D&D, and I could become a gunner and just like full blown Mr.
You could be the
Marksman.
scarecrow.
I think that might be in one of the other books, or one of the supplemental books.
It says it's available on here, but I also detest firearms. I like that we live in a little world where we just shoot arrows at each other and spells. What's it?
very popular DM from like the guy who created the Vox Machina campaign, that person has a homebrew class. I believe that is all about like gunslinging, and it's like gained popularity in spaces. That's probably what you're seeing, if I were to guess.
Yeah, I think in a future thing I would want to become a cowboy, maybe like a gunslinger type. Because again, Kyborg was made because of my resentment towards high fantasy. I'm a sci-fi guy, so that's why he has a robot arm. So I'm trying to do everything I can to get around this high fantasy BS.
Pretty fly for a sci-fi.
So just for clarity, the gunner is from Tasha's Cauldron. It's not like in the core book.
I'm talking about the artificer.
Yeah, it has a notice in D&D Beyond that says this is unofficial material. It says aren't officially part of the D&D game and aren't permitted in D&D, which was limits. It uses content talk with critical content of the character.
Yep, just like you said.
I feel like it's more important that I get a feat, and like some of these feats have an increase in abilities as well. It's not by 2, it's just by 1. But like Piercer, for instance, sounds pretty cool. I don't know if I have the option to do that. Basically, like if I get a critical hit, I get a critical hit. Like I get to roll like several dice.
Again, that's from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Make sure you're looking in the player's handbook. I don't know how many times I have to say that.
I have a drop down menu. Apparently, it's not
Well,
working.
apparently you need to learn how to use it. Okay, well, while Blaine continues to look through all of the wrong list of beats, I think this might be a good time to get to some Q&A. Right off the bat, we kind of already touched on one. Bad Irish King says, what happens if a PC dies? I think, Ben kind of talked about that, about like pulling punches or having to figure out like workarounds in the case of something like that happens.
Basically, after the first few arcs, like it's hard to die, especially if you're trying to like pull a podcast together, right? Just want to keep all that story content. But like, I want to let you guys get your feedback with your characters, but like I said, the gloves are off. It's up to just like Gus now for you guys to do things.
I mean, we killed it.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Judge Brett. I do remember in the second arc of that part, I believe, rolled death saving throws.
Roll what?
Death saving.
Oh, that's
Yes, you got incapacitated, which means that you start throwing death saving throws. Killed when I did too. I did.
So you did. You have a couple times.
Yeah, Kyborg has.
Oh, yeah.
You hit 3 of those, you die.
So we've gotten close.
The audience, the fan base, they would have rebelled. They would have been inconsolable that they lost Kyborg.
Yeah, that's a word.
All the cry.
All right, we got a question from
Cry
Matt
boards.
YX59. How far along would you say the group is along in the campaign? Are there any other plans for other campaigns after this one? Micah, I think you're probably best suited to answer that one.
I will say honestly, from the first arc, there was an episode where I was editing it, and I had an epiphany for where the whole story should go. As far as like, so I were probably getting close to halfway through the whole campaign, if it goes like to the timing that we're suspecting. But things could change. But yeah, we have a lot of this.
Yeah, I think after this next arc, you guys will be about halfway. Just kind of depends on how long you take and like, all sorts of stuff. For like general pacing, there's actually like in the Dungeon Master's guidebook, there's like levels kind of dictate where you're at in the story. So levels 1 through 4, you're like local heroes. Levels 5 through 10, you're like heroes of the realm. Levels 11 through 16, you become masters of the realm. 17 to 20, you're basically like demigods. And so we've kind of like chosen a level we kind of want to end at, and then mapped out like how many arcs it would take to get there, and like what story beats we want to hit. Like, I think we've mapped out a pretty good story here. And I'm really interested to see how you guys react, and if we have a whole arc where someone dies, we have to save them from help. But we'll see what happens once a character dies.
Independent of like what happens in our campaign, all this stuff. Like I love Kyborg. He's my favorite fictional character that I've made. So like if I ever join someone else's game or whatever, and it's not a single dragon, I'm great Kyborg.
It's funny, I feel like when people, I don't know, what your background really was with D&D before we started doing all this, but I feel like when people first start playing D&D, they love their first first character or two. I want to use them as much as possible. But eventually they reach a point where they're like, I'm sick of playing this class. I want to play anything new or anything weird or anything different other than what I played for the bulk of the time. Like years ago, back in 3rd edition, I had a rogue arcane archer that I played for years, so I'm kind of familiar with the arcane archer stuff you're looking through and picking. And looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I never want to touch that again because I played that for like 10 years. Like, I am done with that. So I had another question here from Moxley Sensei 117 asking if there will be another campaign, who would you want to DM next? I'll let the cast answer that one.
Like from this group or just anyone, like anyone in general?
It's up to you.
We're all gonna vote for ourselves. It's gonna be like a class president.
I don't think I'd want a DM.
No, neither would I.
I just think like I am so constantly blown away by like Gus, Ben, and Micah keeping all this stuff like tracked and like knowing what's happening and what to, because it's essentially just constant improv based off what we do or don't do, and so that just seems like it would require a lot of brain power, which we record this in the morning, and I don't have that in the morning. But I can see, I feel like Ben could be a good DM. You know?
Seems like he has experience.
But he would have to do it as Sleek.
Oh god. Actually, it's kind of on that note. I'm gonna mention I wasn't gonna be able to be a part of this recording originally because I was out. I was looking at like how to do the recap, and I was like, I could have Gus just read it. Or I could put Blaine into a room, and we could be like Sleek and Kyborg, and Sleek is trying to like chronicle the experiences of everybody, but it's just like, oh yeah, so Kyborg, you guys really in this city did this thing that was amazing. You came back, I was so proud to call you my best friend, and just let Blaine just like brag on me for the whole recap.
Like Sleek's writing a
ballad,
memoirs, a song about the feats.
Yeah.
And I keep wanting to interject rap and
Barbara said something there about how like everything's constant improv, and Micah sent me was it a tick me story at any time, and the whole time you're trying to keep the story moving forward while people are doing everything they can to fight you and take it off the rails.
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
With Chris and I doing Good Morning from Hell, which is just a purely improvisational show, like I think that I would love to do DMing because that's like a lot of character work, and that's something that I get a lot of joy out of. John used to run a show called On the Spot, and every week, for whatever reason, I think Chris and I we just had a season. We would just show up as different people. We never played Chris and Blaine. We're always just like different people. Yeah, and that's a lot of fun.
I feel like I could DM, but not for this group. I feel like I would have to have a group of people who follow the rules and just do everything that I expect them to do.
I will say it is very helpful having Ben and Micah, even though you all are talking before you. There's just like constant chat and exchange of information going back and forth behind the scenes that you all never see. So constantly like double checking facts, rules, and like just making sure everything's going appropriately. So it's like even though it seems like I'm the one doing all the work. That's like don't look behind the curtain like Wizard of Oz style.
There you go.
There it is.
There's really a lot going on behind scenes that you don't see.
Yeah.
So I would answer this question, but I want to get the players answer it first. But on that note, like every DM is very different. Like if you listen to other shows, like the Adventure Zone is when I've drawn a lot of inspiration when I like pitch the show. Their DM is like, has worked in like game news for a long time, knows like how games are built. So like he likes to play at a very different pace and like kind of pull those rules in while still telling a story. I think Gus does a really good job of mixing like playing at a table with stats and getting into the crunchy numbers of everything, while also like getting through the story and like trying to let you guys do your improbable thing. I think each of you have very different DMing styles, which I think is a lot of fun about this game.
Let's Jonathan Van Ness up to we had
All those producer strings seem like I do. Chris, John, did you guys have answers?
I mean, I think it would be really fun to DM. I think Blaine would enjoy it a lot too. I think that just thinking from or working Good Morning from Hell and just telling stories and improv, like that's just fun. My only concern is if I did, then I would get so immersed in trying to write or like writing the story that I could consume myself in that.
That's a real easy thing to do.
I feel like that would be the most disappointing part too. Is like if you invested a lot into an NPC and then the characters just don't get away from them or they don't go. Like I feel like there's a lot of prep work that goes into D&D, and sometimes it's just like the party gravitates towards the thing that you don't want them to do. Well, you have like this incredible circus over here built. They're just like, oh, we want to go back in those woods over there. It's like, no, no, no.
Like going into Glocken Tower and going through all of the encounters that were in there.
Yeah, you got all that stuff playing idiots. I mean, that's art in itself, though, right? I mean, like if you're an artist, you learn, you have to learn eventually that like you have to have open hands with your own art and not be completely entrenched in it, so that like it can have its own life in a sense.
Yeah, and to be fair, what I meant by that is just where I would want to like, yeah, build out stuff where there's so many, options and things that would just take up a lot of my time.
Yeah,
Yeah, but to me, like the fun of that kind of stuff is like what I've enjoyed about being just a character is telling a story, but only having to focus on just my character. Yeah, if that makes sense. Because I do think in terms of story and character, whenever I like approach this game, that I'm only doing it through one lens. So it's fun to do that. I think it'd be really fun to kind of like approach storytelling through like all the NPCs and then like the kind of balance of it. It's fun, but I think it's just a lot of work. So good on y'all.
yeah.
You know who I think would be a really fun dungeon master? A friend of ours who's like an excellent improv artist, Kirk Johnson.
Oh wow.
I feel like he'd be really
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be fun.
Yeah, him or like Nick Rutherford.
Yeah. Can they
Those guys are
dual
just
DM?
So yes, please.
Oh,
They're so funny and so quick with just all their improv work, and I think that they would be just like a joy to have in the D&D campaign in any sense.
yeah. We just gotta get Nick take a break from Rick and Morty, right? Because we are
I'm so jealous. He not only writes, he was a character in the show.
Was he really?
Yeah, like there is a character called Nick, and it looks like him. And he's like one of the main characters of one of the show, one of the episodes in the most recent season. So jealous.
Looking it up.
Yeah, I watched that episode. I was like, that's
Oh my god, that is him.
yeah,
Ew, weird.
it's a good episode too.
I stopped watching, but I might get back.
Does anyone else have any thoughts about people they'd like to see Dia?
Patrick Stewart.
He's not doing anything, right?
No.
The cards got canceled. I don't get it. It's nope, it's still going.
My answer is Barbara, and it's because of something she said in an earlier episode about you joked about like a Canadian like location, like a Canadian neighborhood. I would actually. So there are other like tabletop role playing systems that like aren't D and D. They're like much simpler and much more role play oriented. Like no combat, but still like keep the story moving. There's one called Kids on Bikes. We just play a bunch of like neighborhood kids and like different like.
What?
There's like some like fantasy elements that you can roll into it, or like kind of supernatural, think of like Stranger Things or stuff like that.
Well, guys, I will see you later. I'm gonna go to the store, then get some stuff, and then go back and do more work at home. So, yeah, see you later.